Vayikra. And Yahuwah called to Moshe and spoke to him from the tent of appointment, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and say to them, When any one of you brings an offering to Yahuwah, you bring your offering of the livestock of the herd or of the flock. If his offering is an ascending offering of the herd, let him bring a male, a perfect one. Let him bring it at the door of the tent of appointment for his acceptance before Yahuwah. And he shall lay his hand on the head of the ascending offering, and it shall be accepted on his behalf to make atonement for him. And he shall slay the bull before Yahuwah, and the sons of Aharon the priest shall bring the blood and sprinkle the blood all around on the slaughter place, which is at the door of the tent of appointment. And he shall skin the ascending offering and cut it into its pieces. And the sons of Aharon the priest shall put fire on the slaughter place, and lay the wood in order on the fire. And the sons of Aharon the priest shall arrange the pieces with the head and the fat on the wood which is on the fire on the slaughter place. But its entrails and its legs he washes with water, and the priest shall burn all of it on the slaughter place as an ascending offering, an offering made by fire, a sweet fragrance to Yahuwah. And if his offering is from the flock, from the sheep, or from the goats, as an ascending offering, let him bring a male, a perfect one, and he shall slay it on the north side of the slaughter place before Yahuwah. And the sons of Aharon the priest shall sprinkle its blood on the slaughter place all around, and he shall cut it into its pieces, with its head and its fat, and the priest shall arrange them on the wood which is on the fire on the slaughter place. But the entrails and the legs he washes with water, and the priest shall bring it all and burn it on the slaughter place. It is an ascending offering, an offering made by fire, a sweet fragrance to Yahuwah. And if the ascending offering of his offering to Yahuwah is of birds, then he shall bring his offering of turtle doves or young pigeons. And the priest shall bring it to the slaughter place, and shall wring off its head, and burn it on the slaughter place, and its blood shall be drained out at the side of the slaughter place. And he shall remove its crop with its feathers, and throw it beside the slaughter place on the east side, into the place for ashes. And he shall split it at its wings, but not sever it. And the priest shall burn it on the slaughter place, on the wood that is on the fire. It is an ascending offering, an offering made by fire, a sweet fragrance to Yahuwah. And when anyone brings a grain offering to Yahuwah, his offering is to be a fine flour, and he shall pour oil on it, and put frankincense on it. And he shall bring it to the sons of Aharon the priest, and he shall take from it his hand filled with fine flour and oil, with all the frankincense, and the priest shall burn it as a remembrance portion on the slaughter place, an offering made by fire, a sweet fragrance to Yahuwah. And the rest of the grain offering is for Aharon and his sons, most set apart of the offerings to Yahuwah by fire. And when you bring as an offering a grain offering baked in the oven, it is of unleavened cakes of fine flour mixed with oil, or unleavened thin cakes anointed with oil. But if your offering is a grain offering on the griddle, it is of fine flour, unleavened, mixed with oil. Divide it into bits and pour oil on it. It is a grain offering. And if your offering is a grain offering in a stewing pot, it is made of fine flour with oil. And you shall bring to Yahuwah the grain offering that is made of these, and shall present it to the priest, and he shall bring it to the slaughter place. And the priest shall take from the grain offering a remembrance portion, and burn it on the slaughter place, an offering made by fire, a sweet fragrance to Yahuwah. And the rest of the grain offering is for Aharon and his sons, most set apart of the offerings to Yahuwah made by fire. No grain offering which you bring to Yahuwah is made with leaven, for you do not burn any leaven or any honey in an offering to Yahuwah made by fire. Bring them to Yahuwah as an offering of the first fruits, but they are not burned on the slaughter place for a sweet fragrance. And season with salt every offering of your grain offering, and do not allow the salt of the covenant of your Elohim to be lacking from your grain offering. With all your offerings you bring salt. And if you bring a grain offering of your first fruits to Yahuwah, bring for the grain offering of your first fruits green heads of grain roasted on the fire, crushed heads of new grain. And you shall put oil on it, and lay frankincense on it. It is a grain offering. And the priest shall burn the remembrance portion from its crushed grain, and from its oil, with all the frankincense, an offering made by fire to Yahuwah. And if that which he presents is a slaughtering of peace offerings, if he is bringing it of the herd, whether male or female, he brings a perfect one before Yahuwah. And he shall lay his hand on the head of his offering, and slay it at the door of the tent of appointment. And the sons of Aharon the priest shall sprinkle the blood on the slaughter place all around. And from the slaughtering of peace offerings he shall bring a fire offering to Yahuwah, the fat that covers the entrails, and all the fat that is on the entrails, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them by the loins, and the appendage on the liver, which he removes with the kidneys. And the sons of Aharon shall burn it on the slaughter place upon the ascending offering, which is on the wood, which is on the fire, as an offering made by fire, a sweet fragrance to Yahuwah. And if that which he presents is from the flock for a slaughtering of peace offerings to Yahuwah, male or female, he brings a perfect one. If he is bringing a lamb as his offering, then he shall bring it before Yahuwah, and shall lay his hand on the head of his offering, and slay it in front of the tent of appointment. And the sons of Aharon shall sprinkle its blood on the slaughter place round about. And from the slaughtering of peace offerings he shall bring near, as a fire offering to Yahuwah, its fat, all the fat tail which he removes close to the backbone, and the fat that covers the entrails, and all the fat that is on the entrails, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them by the loins, and the appendage on the liver, which he removes with the kidneys. And the priest shall burn them on the slaughter place as food, an offering made by fire to Yahuwah. And if his offering is a goat, then he shall bring it before Yahuwah, and shall lay his hand on its head, and slay it before the tent of appointment. And the sons of Aharon shall sprinkle its blood on the slaughter place all around. And from it he shall bring his offering as an offering made by fire to Yahuwah, the fat that covers the entrails, and all the fat that is on the entrails, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them by the loins, and the appendage on the liver, which he removes with the kidneys. And the priest shall burn them on the slaughter place as food, an offering made by fire for a sweet fragrance. All the fat belongs to Yahuwah. An everlasting law throughout your generations in all your dwellings. You do not eat any fat or any blood. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, When a being sins by mistake against any of the commands of Yahuwah, which are not to be done, and shall do any of them, if the anointed priest sins, bringing guilt on the people, then he shall bring to Yahuwah for his sin, which he has sinned, a young bull, a perfect one, as a sin offering. And he shall bring the bull to the door of the tent of appointment before Yahuwah, and shall lay his hand on the bull's head, and slay the bull before Yahuwah. And the anointed priest shall take some of the bull's blood, and bring it to the tent of appointment. And the priest shall dip his finger in the blood, and sprinkle some of the blood 7 times before Yahuwah, in front of the veil of the set-apart place. And the priest shall put some of the blood on the horns of the slaughter place of sweet incense before Yahuwah, which is in the tent of appointment, and pour all the blood of the bull at the base of the slaughter place of the ascending offering, which is at the door of the tent of appointment. Then he takes all the fat of the bull as the sin offering, the fat that covers the entrails, and all the fat which is on the entrails, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them by the loins, and the appendage of the liver, which he removes with the kidneys, as it was taken from the bull of the slaughtering of peace offerings, and the priest shall burn them on the slaughter place of the ascending offering. But the skin of the bull with all its flesh, with its head and legs, its entrails and dung, all of the bull, he shall bring outside the camp to a clean place, where the ashes are poured out, and burn it on wood with fire. Where the ashes are poured out, it is burned. And if the entire congregation of Israel strays by mistake, and the matter has been hidden from the eyes of the assembly, and they have done against any of the commands of Yahuwah which are not to be done, and shall be guilty, when the sin which they have sinned becomes known, then the assembly shall bring a young bull for the sin, and bring it before the tent of appointment. And the elders of the congregation shall lay their hands on the head of the bull before Yahuwah, and the bull shall be slain before Yahuwah. And the anointed priest shall bring some of the bull's blood to the tent of appointment, And the priest shall dip his finger in the blood and sprinkle it 7 times before Yahuwah in front of the veil. And put some of the blood on the horns of the slaughter place, which is before Yahuwah, which is in the tent of appointment, and pour all the blood at the base of the slaughter place of ascending offering, which is at the door of the tent of appointment. Then he takes all the fat from it, and shall burn it on the slaughter place. And he shall do with the bull as he did with the bull as a sin offering, so shall he do it. And the priest shall make atonement for them, and it shall be forgiven them. And he shall bring the bull outside the camp and burn it as he burned the first bull. It is a sin offering for the assembly. When a ruler sins, and by mistake has done against any of the commands of Yahuwah his Elohim, which are not to be done, and shall be guilty, or if his sin which he has sinned is made known to them, then he shall bring as his offering a buck of the goats, a male, a perfect one. And he shall lay his hand on the head of the goat, and slay it at the place where they slay the ascending offering before Yahuwah. It is a sin offering. And the priest shall take some of the blood of the sin offering with his finger, and shall put it on the horns of the slaughter place of ascending offering, and pour its blood at the base of the slaughter place of ascending offering, and burn all its fat on the slaughter place like the fat of the slaughtering of the peace offerings. And the priest shall make atonement for him for his sin, and it shall be forgiven him. And if any being of the people of the land sins by mistake, by doing against any of the commands of Yahuwah, which are not to be done, and shall be guilty, or if his sin which he has sinned shall be made known to him, then he shall bring as his offering a female goat, a perfect one, for his sin which he has sinned. And he shall lay his hand on the head of the sin offering, and slay the sin offering at the place of the ascending offering. And the priest shall take some of its blood with his finger, and shall put it on the horns of the slaughter place of ascending offering, and pour all the blood at the base of the slaughter place. Then remove all its fat, as fat is removed from the slaughtering of the peace offerings. And the priest shall burn it on the slaughter place for a sweet fragrance to Yahuwah. And the priest shall make atonement for him, and it shall be forgiven him. And if he brings a lamb as his sin offering, he brings a female, a perfect one. And he shall lay his hand on the head of the sin offering, and slay it as a sin offering at the place where they slay the ascending offering. And the priest shall take some of the blood of the sin offering with his finger, and shall put it on the horns of the slaughter place of ascending offering, and pour all the blood at the base of the slaughter place. Then he removes all its fat, as the fat of the lamb is removed from the slaughtering of the peace offerings. And the priest shall burn it on the slaughter place, according to the fire offerings to God, to Yahuwah. So the priest shall make atonement for his sin that he has sinned, and it shall be forgiven him. And when a being sins in that he has heard the voice of swearing, and is a witness, or has seen, or has known, but does not reveal it, he shall bear his crookedness. Or when a being touches any unclean matter, or the carcass of an unclean beast, or the carcass of unclean livestock, or the carcass of unclean creeping creatures, and it has been hidden from him, he is unclean and guilty. Or when he touches uncleanness of man, any of his uncleanness by which he is unclean, and it has been hidden from him, when he shall know it, then he shall be guilty. Or when a being swears, speaking rashly with his lips, to do evil or to do good, whatever it is that a man swears rashly with an oath, and it has been hidden from him, when he shall know it, then he shall be guilty of one of these. And it shall be, when he is guilty of one of these, that he shall confess that in which he sinned, and shall bring his guilt offering to Yahuwah for his sin which he has sinned, a female from the flock, a lamb or a female goat as a sin offering. And the priest shall make atonement for him for his sins. And if he is unable to bring a lamb, then he shall bring to Yahuwah, he who has sinned, 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, one for a sin offering, and the other for an ascending offering. And he shall bring them to the priest, who shall bring near that which is for the sin offering first, and nib off its head from its neck, but not sever it. And he shall sprinkle some of the blood of the sin offering on the side of the slaughter place, and the rest of the blood shall be drained out at the base of the slaughter place. It is a sin offering. And he shall prepare the second as an ascending offering, according to the right ruling, and the priest shall make atonement for him, for his sin which he has sinned, and it shall be forgiven him. But if he is unable to bring 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, then he who sins shall bring for his offering 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour as a sin offering. He puts no oil on it, nor does he put any frankincense on it, for it is a sin offering. And he shall bring it to the priest, and the priest shall take his hand filled with it as a remembrance portion, and burn it on the slaughter place according to the offerings made by fire to Yahuwah. It is a sin offering. And the priest shall make atonement for him, for his sin that he has sinned in any of these, and it shall be forgiven him. And that shall be the priest like a grain offering. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, when a being commits a trespass, and has sinned by mistake against the set-apart matters of Yahuwah, then he shall bring to Yahuwah as his guilt offering a ram, a perfect one from the flock, with your valuation in shekels of silver according to the shekel of the set-apart place as a guilt offering. And he shall make good for the sin that he has done against that which is set apart, and shall add 1/5 to it, and give it to the priest, and the priest should make atonement for him with a ram of the guilty offering, and it shall be forgiven him. And when any being sits and has done what is not to be done against any of the commandments of Yahuwah, though he knew it not, yet he shall be guilty and still bear his crookedness. Then he shall bring to the priest a ram, a perfect one from the flock, with your valuation, as a guilt offering, and the priest shall make atonement for his mistake he committed unintentionally, though he did not know it, and it shall be forgiven him. It is a guilt offering. He was truly guilty before Yahuwah. This people I have formed for myself, let them relate my praise. But you have not called on me, O Yaakov, for you have been weary of me, O Yisrael. You have not brought me the sheep for your ascending offerings, nor have you esteemed me with your slaughterings. I have not caused you to serve with grain offerings, nor wearied you with incense. You have not bought me sweet cane with silver, nor have you satisfied me with the fat of your slaughterings. You have only burdened me with your sins. You have wearied me with your crookednesses. I am he who blots out your transgressions for my own sake, and remember your sins no more. Remind me, let us enter into judgment together. Relate that you might be declared right. Your first father sinned, and your interpreters have transgressed against me. So I have profaned the chief ones of the set-apart place, and I have delivered up Yaakov to the curse and Yisrael to scorn. But now hear, O Yaakov, my servant, and Yisrael, whom I have chosen. Thus said Yahuwah, who made you and formed you from the womb, who helps you. Do not fear, O Yaakov, my servant, and Yeshurun, whom I have chosen. For I pour water on the thirsty, and floods on the dry ground. I pour my spirit on your seed, and my blessing on your offspring. And they shall spring up among the grass like willows, by streams of water. One says, I belong to Yahuwah. Another calls himself by the name of Yaakov. Another writes with his hand unto Yahuwah, and names himself by the name of Yisrael. Thus said Yahuwah, sovereign of Yisrael, and his Redeemer, Yahuwah of hosts. I am the first, and I am the last. Besides me there is no Elohim, and who is like me? Let him call and declare it, and lay it before me, since I appointed the everlasting people, and the events that are coming, and those that do come. Let them declare these to them. Do not fear, nor be afraid. Have I not since made you hear and declared it? You are my witnesses. Is there an Eloah besides me? There is no other rock. I know not one. Those who make an idol, all of them are emptiness, and all their delights do not profit. And they are their own witnesses. They neither see nor know, so that they are put to shame. Who would form a mighty one, or cast an idol that is of no value? See, all his companions are ashamed, and the workmen, they are but men. Let them be gathered together. Let them stand up, and let them fear. Let them be put to shame altogether. The craftsman in iron with the tools works one in the coals and fashions it with hammers, and works it with the strength of his arms. Even so he shall be hungry, and has no strength. He drinks no water, and is weary. The carpenter stretches out his rule. He lines it with chalk. He fashions on with the plane, and he outlines it with the compass, and makes it like the figure of a man, according to the comeliness of a man, to remain in the house. He cuts down cedars for himself, and takes cypress and oak, which he raised among the trees of the forest. He has planted the pine, and the rain nourishes it. And it shall be for a man to burn, for he takes some of it and warms himself. He also kindles it, and shall bake bread. He also makes the mighty one with bows, himself to it, has made it a carved image, and falls down before it. Here of it he shall burn in the fire. With his half he eats meat. He roasts the roast, and is satisfied. He also warms himself, and says, Aha, I am warm, I have seen the fire. And the rest of it makes into a mighty one. And the rest of it he makes into a mighty one, his carved image. He falls down before it, and worships, prays to it, and says, Deliver me, for you are my mighty one. They do not know nor understand, for he has smeared their eyes from seeing, and their hearts from understanding. And no one recalls to it his heart. Nor is there knowledge, nor understanding to say, I have burned half of it in the fire, and I have also baked bread on its coals. I have roasted meat and eaten it. And shall I make the rest of it an abomination? Should I fall down before a log of wood? Feeding on ashes, and deceived hearts turn to him aside, and he does not deliver his being, nor says, Is there not a lie in my right hand? Remember these matters, O Yaakov and Yisrael, for you are my servant. I have formed you. You are my servant, O Yisrael. Do not forget me. I wipe out your transgressions like a cloud, and your sins like a mist. Return to me, for I shall redeem you. Sing, O heavens, for Yahuwah shall do it. Shout, O depths of the earth. Break forth into singing, O mountains, forests, and every tree in it. For Yahuwah shall redeem Yaakov, and make himself clear in Yisrael. If then you bring your gift to the slaughter place, and there remember that your brother holds whatever against you, leave your gift there before the slaughter place, and go, first make peace with your brother, and then come and offer your gift. Be well-minded with your opponent promptly, while you are on the way with him, lest your opponent deliver you to the judge, and the judge to the officer, and you be thrown into prison. Truly I say to you, you shall by no means get out of there till you have paid the last penny. You heard that it was said to those of old, You shall not commit adultery. But I say to you that everyone looking at a woman to lust for her has already committed adultery with her in his heart. And if your right eye causes you to stumble, pluck it out and throw it away from you. For it is better for you that one of your members perish than for your entire body to be thrown into Gehenna. And if your right hand causes you to stumble, cut it off and throw it away. Throw it away from you. For it is better for you that one of your members perish than for your entire body to be thrown into Gehenna.